It stayed on the list.
Yeah, did that again. Okay, yes, it does. Okay, we're going to do this again.
There it is. Oh yeah, you can say, yep, she's still
No, I think they need to see my presentation. Okay. Hopefully I'm more relaxed this time. Thank you all for coming. Obviously today's topic is baking. I am a baker and a decorator, as many of you know, for the last 16 years. Some of those years I've actually sold my cakes to my family and friends for their special events. So some of the slides today are of my final product of my cakes. But you also have been recipient of my culinary delights, so you can hopefully understand, that they just don't look good, but perhaps they even taste good. You can attest to that. So perhaps you are wondering, what are some of the techniques I use to make my cakes? And I thought maybe it might be interesting and I could share some of that. There's not a lot of time, so this is going to be a basic rundown. So I'm going to teach you a few basic techniques and tips that I have used, that I've learned to incorporate into my routines, and hopefully you will be able to maybe glean something from it and use it in your routine so that we can make delicious and beautiful cakes. So let's get started. So the biggest thing with when I come to bake anything is I have prepared already certain steps that I take so that it's a carefree baking experience. So there are many steps to take, but these are about 5 that I've incorporated that I felt was important enough to share with you. So the first one is read the entire recipe. I always read it. I don't know how many times I might have made that recipe, but I read it again because I could have forgotten some. So you want to read it thoroughly through. You want to be able to know which order things need to be done, if you need to prepare anything ahead of time, what temperature the oven should be at, and so forth. Then you want to prepare your bakeware. I highly recommend this kind of pan as opposed to this kind of pan. Many of us, we just buy what's at Walmart, but these really do make a difference. Your cakes come out moister, nicer. This tends to burn easily.
Is it the same?
Nope, not the same. This is darker, a different kind of material. This is a heavy aluminum, and it's lighter, and those tend to be... Nope, they're not non-stick.
No.
Nope. So you want to prepare your pans. I tend to use a piece of wax paper and grease, and that's it. And my cakes come out well every time. And then the other part of it is to prepare your ingredients. You want to set everything out. You don't have to be like on TV where you put the salt and you have everything measured out, but you do, for the most part, want things out and ready to measure. And as soon as you use it, you want to be able to put it back, because how many times have we put the salt in and said, did I put the salt in? And so you put more salt in, or you leave it out. So as soon as you use it, I put it back. That's my tip there. And then 3, understand baking techniques, just your basic folding, cream, what creamed means, how to separate your eggs, just basic techniques. And that will just really help you move through nicely. And avoid distractions. The whole point of this is that you don't want to not be focusing on baking. This is not a good time to be baking. Or if you have a doctor's appointment, you don't want to be rushing. You want to have your whole person involved in your baking experience. So keep calm and bake on. So, and here are my tips. I'm not going to go through how to bake. You all know how to bake. But if you're curious to know what are some things that really have helped me over the years, I would like to share that with you. So follow the directions, but take notes, because that will enable you to make that recipe your own. Plus, there might be something wrong with the recipe, and you found out that you need 1.5 cups of flour, not 2 cups of flour. So follow the directions, but take notes. Don't overmix. It will make the cake tough. And you've heard that many times, but it really is true. And then know your oven's temperature. Everybody's temperature is different, so just know if it's going to take 45 minutes to bake a cake or 30. And bake until tester is almost clean. Every cookbook will tell you until the toothpick comes out clean. But I want to really caution people that most people will overcook or overbake their cakes if they wait until it's totally clean. It will become dry. So you should be able to put the tester in, and there should be like a little crumbs on the tester. That's perfect. That's what you want to see. And then cool your cakes. That's very important. You don't want to bake your cake and it's still not be, it's still warm, and then your frosting's going to melt. And then the other reason is I suggest you wrap and freeze your cake overnight. This will make for a very velvety texture to your cake, and it makes for a wonderful, so that you can frost it very easily. So now we're on to frosting. And you want to prepare your frosting according to the directions. This is a buttercream. To me, it's the best homemade frosting for decorating your cake, but there's lots out there. You want to prepare your filling as well. And once you have all that together, you want to remove the cake from the freezer. And I suggest this turntable. This is wonderful. This will really make your life easier. And if you ever get any circles, use the circle as well. Those are great. So I take my cake from the freezer, and this is another tip. And all you have to do is put the cake on here, and you, where it mounts, you just saw like this and turn, and you work towards the center. By that time, you're done. So you don't want to go all the way like that, because that's when you're going to get your curves and unevenness. So use a turntable and just keep working toward the middle. Then you want to take your circle and you want to put a dollop of frosting on it. And this will keep your cake firmly on your circle or your platter. If you have a platter, you can use the platter as well. So you want to place it on the table, you want to add some frosting, and then you're going to put one of the rounds with cut side up. And then you're going to pipe without any tip. You're going to put frosting in here, and you're just going to go right around. Just make one big around the edge, and that will hold your filling in, and it won't spill out and get into your outer frosting. It will also be a glue.
So is that 2 cut pieces together there?
This is one round.
Oh.
And then you're going to put the rim and the filling. And then you're going to put the second cut round upside down so that the bottom is on top. And that's how you get a really nice flat top. And then you're going to brush your cake. And I use just a standard brush from the paint shop. And you just want to brush. Like, that bothers me. Brush that right off. And then, how did I go backwards? All right, and then you're going to coat a thin layer to hold the crumbs. And it should look like that picture on the right. See, they didn't use a piping so that strawberry is going to come out. So you really want that rim of piping around there. And just a very thin coating to hold all the crumbs in. And it will make your cake, it will make it easier to frost your cake when you have that thin layer. You'll see that it will go very smoothly. And then when you put that second coating on, there are so many tools you can use to make it really pretty. this is another paint tool. You just hold the turntable and hold it like this. Makes it nice and flat. Right. There's silver, sterling silver ones you can use. There's this, those make pretty ridges around the edges. It's as simple as that. It's a really nice touch. So then there's piping. That's not Cake 101. So, but I encourage you to just get some extra frosting and just start doing it. It really is about the wrist. And the turntable, again, really helps because you just keep that motion going. And that's all you're doing when you're doing a trim. You can add flowers, cake, candy dots, and sprinkles. That all makes cake look nice. And then nuts and preserves. If you're not into piping, you can do something like that. Or you can use some fruit. So you have fun. Just have fun. That's the basic thing. Be creative. Use your imagination. And always remember two very important things. Very important things. Most mistakes are edible. No big deal.
Bonnie said Jackie's phone number.
And then the famous words of Julia Child, a party without a cake is just a meeting. So thank you very much.
Oh, so now we have to have
If you want a party. All right, one more. Smile pretty. Alright. Here we go. I hope that was enjoyable for you.
I'm hungry.
I